Well, Natasha, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on here and just to talk to you. One of the questions that we ask everybody that comes on is what is keeping you present during this day? Because so much comes at us for our attention. So, what is something that's keeping you present?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I've been trying to practice this quite a bit. I just started seminary school, and right now we're learning about spiritual formation and disciplines and things that kind of keep us in check during the day in regards to our faith. And so I just finished reading a book about monks actually, and their practices and their disciplines throughout the day. So I think that just being so firmly rooted in scripture, so waking up and reading as much as I can. I try to do 15 minutes in the morning, and then just staying, I think just staying in touch with God throughout the day is what keeps me present. And then also, obviously, like during during the day, putting my phone on do not disturb, which I have on right now. So there's a couple different things, but I just think just being really firmly rooted in disciplines that are healthy for us, whether that be spiritual, physical, mental, that helps me stay present throughout the day. I know it's kind of a long-winded answer, but I think that's a really good question.
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's like that is like just simple practices, like the phone on do not disturb. Because like how many times do you like look at your phone or it like just keeps lighting up and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness gracious. Uh, that was
Yes.
like 30 text messages or 30 notifications in 1 hour. Holy cow.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just simple practices like that, can keep us present and can keep us grounded. But
Yes.
you have a
Yeah.
crazy journey that you've kind of been on like over the course of this year, over the past couple years. For
Mhm.
you, social media has played a great role in that for your music. So kind of share about how everything got started for you.
Yeah, well, I've had a really long journey in the music industry, kind of dating back to when I was 13. Actually, even
Yeah.
before that, like in diapers, I was on stage doing dance and all that kind of stuff. Um, so it's been something that I've known my whole life. And I guess it kind of got more serious when I was in my early teens. I had a couple of record deals here in Canada, and that kind of started everything off for me. And I was in secular music for a long while. This was before I had a personal relationship with the Lord, and before I even actually knew that Christian music existed. It wasn't something that I grew up listening to. Um, but that was just part of my stages in my spiritual walk. And that was kind of unknown to me that there was a Christian music industry. But later in my early 20s, I had a born again moment. And then I realized that moving forward, I wanted to dedicate my life and my music to the Lord in whatever way that looked like. And just had a really open hand posture for that. And even then, it's been quite a journey to get to where I am now. And like you said, social media has played a really incredible role in a lot of different ways. But I also, equate a lot of hard work and determination as well to that, and just not giving up, because I really do believe that if the Lord puts something on your heart, a dream, there's a reason for that. And I've had this put on my heart since I was young. I just didn't know how the Lord wanted me to use it. And so now I do feel like I've kind of landed in a place where I'm so grateful that I'm able to have my voice be used to share the gospel and to be a disciple through music is unbelievable. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. This has been the most fulfilling time of my whole musical journey, is the last couple of years, just being able to sing and glorify him.
Great. That's so wonderful. It's so incredible too how, like just as a little girl, God like had that dream in your heart and how he's continued to grow it just along the way. Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so how have you, I mean, you kind of shared a little bit about it, how you've seen God use just the positive reinforcements of your platform through your journey, but how have you really seen that over the course of this last year? Just the positive reinforcement of social media, of being able to kind of lend an ear on your platform.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that the words through the worship music that I'm singing are reaching people far and wide across the world. And my heart of it all is just that they're able to know Jesus more through the words that I'm singing, or, if they happen upon it, because social media is such a crazy thing. And, if they don't
Yeah,
know the Lord yet, I hope that they maybe are curious to know more about him. Um, yeah, so if that answers your question, I just hope that through it, I mean, social media can be very dark at times, and I actually I don't love it myself, but it can be an incredible tool in so many different ways as well. So if I can just be a little bit of light in the darkness that can be
yeah,
social media, then I feel like I'm fulfilling, what the Lord has called me to do in that space.
absolutely. What has been a highlight for you in your journey? Just something that like you will always remember so far. I mean, there's so much more of the story left to write, but like, what has been a highlight
Oh,
for you?
thank you. Um, Gosh, there's been so many. I think that it is hard to pinpoint one. I just think I've had some really cool experiences over my long, long journey. A couple of them would be the X Factor. I did that when I was just turned 17. I did that in the UK. And so I sang at Wembley Stadium, which was wild. That's a really iconic venue, stadium over there. So that was really cool. I would also say I've sang at so many sporting games, which have really helped me. I think early on in my singing journey, I think just getting confidence to be able to sing with no music and sing the most sacred song of the country, which is the national anthem. I think that has been so formative in me in my musical journey. But some of the things that I've gotten to do from that has been really cool. So just sang in front of like 60,000 people at championship games and major sporting events. So that's been really cool. I think I think there's just been so many. To be honest, I can't remember all of them, which is probably a bad thing. I have a bad memory, but there's just been a lot of things that I'm super grateful for and have been really crucial in my musical journey.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact, I think for any artist, like being able to stand on those stages and know that you're in a legacy of so many different individuals that have come before you. Those are always such cool moments, such cool times to share in. Um, this has, what impact have you seen just in all that you've done? What is like maybe, people always share, this person came up to me after a show, or I got this message in my DMs. What's that moment for you?
Yeah, so I can't say that I had any of those moments when I was doing secular music, but all of those moments have come so far from, being in the Christian music industry and just being super bold for Jesus in music for me has led to those moments. And I think that it can be really hard sometimes um to pinpoint one example of that, but I think that just like some of the comments and the messages that I do get are just inspiring to me and they're encouraging to me, and that's why I think it's really important to share your testimony as well,
Yeah,
because when people share their testimony with me and how maybe I sang their favorite hymn, or I haven't released any original Christian music just yet, but even just with hymns and how it reminds them of their grandfather or pivotal moments in their faith walk. That's been so cool for me to see, and that I could be just a small little vessel in that is really cool.
absolutely. What has been the biggest difference for you between the secular music industry and the Christian music industry? Work, maybe like working in both or being in both spaces?
Mm. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of differences. I think first and foremost, obviously, the reason why
Yeah,
we are singing Christian music, that is massive. That's the massive difference, is obviously um, to share the gospel and to be sharing our faith through our music. That I think that's the biggest difference. And also just for me, like personally, it carries so much weight. Like it is just so much more than music. It is so important. And I just want to be able to carry that properly, and I'm honored that I'm in a space and the Lord's trust me to do that through music that I'm creating. And so I think that that's probably the biggest difference is obviously it means so much more to me. That's my personal experience anyways. Yeah, I guess I don't know if that answers the question, but for me, when I was singing before, when I was singing secular music, I would write songs that had nothing to do with me. So I was just playing a role in this character's life when I was writing music, and none of it related to my story. I was just kind of writing what other people may want to hear being articulated through music when that was in pop music and country music. But now when I'm writing music and I'm singing words, I relate everything back to my personal testimony and my love for Jesus. And it's actually coming from a place of authenticity, which never happened in my previous, I guess, time in secular music, because I grew up acting in the acting industry as well. And so it was just easy for me to play a character and be someone I wasn't when I did secular music. But now this is me. This is my love for Jesus. This is my bold I can't say that word, proclamation of it's early for him. And that is the most incredible difference in my musical journey, is that I can just be Natasha and I can be his daughter and I can be his vessel versus being Natasha, the actor who sings country music or pop music or whatever she was told to sing when she was in her teens.
Absolutely. That I was talking to a friend. I love that you brought that up because I was talking to a friend the other day and they asked me just like music industry questions. And they were like, Megan, what is it like to work in the music industry? And I said, sometimes you have to put on the face of like, who am I going to be today? And I said, some days I just want to be Megan, like just
Mm,
Megan the friend, Megan the person that, wears her sweatpants to the grocery store. Like I don't want to be anybody else. So I
yeah.
love that you said like I just get to be Natasha. Um,
Yeah. And I think that that's so important. I think that that can relate to everyone in all walks, not just in music. I
yeah.
think that we live in a time where everyone wants to be um, someone they're not. I think
Mhm.
that it's easy to put that mask on, like you said, and just and be what the world wants you to be. But I think that the gospel tells us this, and we know this as Christians, is you know we were made in his image, and he wants us to be exactly who he made us to be, not anyone else. That's such a disservice to go try to be someone else. And I have done that. Before I knew the Lord, I was trying really hard to be someone that I wasn't, in order to make someone happy, or people please in the roles that I was in. But you get so much peace when you realize that you don't have to do that. You don't have to be anyone other than who God made you to be. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's important through every stage in our life, in whatever we do.
absolutely. I think that's so, so good. Now, how can people keep up with you, keep up with your journey and what all is coming with you?
Yeah. So I released a Christmas song Friday. So that was really fun. So that just came out. So if this episode airs before Christmas, you can go check it out. It's on all of my socials. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all the things. So it's just Natasha Zimbaro. So that's spelled Natasha Zimbaro. So that just came out, and in the new year we're going to be putting out some some more stuff as well. So I'm excited about that. So would be honored and thrilled to have everyone keep up with me on my socials for those announcements.
That's so fun. Okay, so let's just sidebar to the Christmas single. Tell us about the Christmas single that just came out. What all went into creating that classic Christmas song?
Yeah, so we recreated "Oh Holy Night." It is a very classic version of it, though it's nothing crazy. But that has always been my favorite Christmas carol. And I think it just is such a special song. I think that the words to it, I mean, obviously it's celebrating Jesus's birth, and then moves on to, the later years of his life and what he taught us and everything. But it's just a song that carries so much meaning. And I
Yeah.
think that, I hope that through that song, people who may not know Jesus yet think about the lyrics and what we're singing, because Christmas is an interesting season with Christmas music. I think a lot of people who don't know the Lord and who may be not Christian at all, they love to sing a good Christian Christmas carol. And so
Yeah.
I hope, my prayer with that is that, the words and the Holy Spirit just you know enter into them, and just fill their hearts with the love of Jesus, and so maybe that they know him more. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about that song, I guess. I mean, it's not an original, but it's just one of my favorites, and I'm thrilled to be able to share a version of it.
Well, I love it. I love a good classic Christmas song. So thank you, Natasha, for being on the podcast today, sharing your story, sharing your heart. Yeah, it's been such a joy to talk to you.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been so special, and wish you a very Merry Christmas. If I know it's early, but in advance.
Yes, absolutely. But, people have their trees up and Christmas is right around the corner.
It sure is. It sure is.